Hello everyone, welcome back to Anmoll Astrology channel. Now this video is about the transit of Venus in the nakshatra of Magha and also in the sign of Leo. So if you guys have not yet seen my video of Venus in the nakshatra of Magha, you can first watch that, because there I have already communicated that what could be the results of Venus being in the sign of Leo and in the nakshatra of Magha. I'll give a quick recap to it. So Venus, when it comes into the sign of Leo, it talks about living the life king size. This actually, there's a very big misconception related to this particular placement. That is that everyone says that these people are, full of, they have life full of luxury, they have so much money and so much luxury on their hands. But this is actually not the case. They always have a wavy or very fluctuating financial condition. They indeed are born into either they are born into the home which is full of luxury or which has wealth, or it's just that after they take their birth, their family just gets that fortune, because the sign of Leo is actually your past life, past your past life good deeds, your purva punya bhava. So that's why you are born with past life good deeds. So it's like that these people do have inheritance, they do have some family's money, but it's like until unless they don't get that time they don't have money. It's like that when they get, they always, first of all, they always have to fight for inheritance. They always, even if you have moon in Magha, Venus in Magha, Mars in Magha, any planet in Magha, you would have to fight, or there has to be something that happens. The intensity of the situation can be low or high, but something happens so as to you to obtain that property. The process is never very, very easy, right? So until that stage, you can actually be deprived of money at some point in your life. And Venus in Magha also represents that till 25th or 26th of age, you tend to have a lot of pleasurable experiences. You spend your money in a very royal and lavish manner. But that 25, 26 age of yours is very transformative for you. And that transformation actually comes in either due to a very significant change in the career or in the financial condition of the family, or this actually comes in through a relationship. After this, you actually change completely as a person and you become more spiritual in nature. So these people start from a king, from a royal individual who just is totally into the materialistic world, and then they end up being a spiritual yogi, right? And they start from a very infidel person, a person who wants to have, girls around, if you are a female, you want to have men around, you want to have maximum attention from people. But then you end up being a person who is just far away from these things, who are totally devoted towards your spouses. So that's what is about Venus in Magha. So now when we have this particular transit in your in this particular placement within your transit, now it means that this is actually the time where you are going to get fruits of your past life karma, which related to your relationships. And it also talks about that in your relationship, something related to the past is also going to resurface, right? So this talks about, since Venus is in Magha, Venus is transiting in Magha, it will give you situations like it is going to first attach you. When it was in the sign of Cancer, it made you so much attached to the relationships, to the thought of relationships. Now it is going to slowly detach you to from the materialistic and lust aspect of the relationships, and now it is going to attach you towards spirituality. But this journey towards spirituality is going to come after a major upheaval, after a significant event. Okay, so let's just talk about it by looking into the Muhurta chart. Remember, Muhurta chart is really, really important so as to understand one transit, because it is going to tell you, just like a Prashna chart, it is going to tell you the whole theme of the situation. So we have Anuradha Nakshatra. You know, one more thing I did discuss in my Venus in Magha Nakshatra video was that Venus coming into the sign of Leo is very good about artistic abilities, but it is not at all better or not at all best when it is about relationships. It can give you, since Magha is ruled by a male cat, the male rat. So Magha's animal totem is male rat. So they hop from one relationship to another very quickly. It's actually the matter of attention. Wherever they get attention, they start going there. Wherever they, just like wherever the rat gets food, it starts going there. And in order to, catch the rat, you have to lure them with food. You have to lure them with cheese or anything, any food, so as to get them into into your trap. Similarly is the thing with the Magha individuals. They try to trap other people, and they try to lure other people with their playfulness. So this is something which can actually be there at this transit time. So this transit of Venus is happening on 31st of July 2024, and I think it is going to stay there till, I believe, 10th of August. Let me see. It's going to be there till 11th of August, right? So this is the Muhurta chart, and this is the theme of this particular transit. You need to work hard and hard towards relationships, towards romantically aligning into relationships, more than previously, since Venus was in Cancer sign and the nakshatra, water nakshatras, it was more about being connecting towards the emotional end. Now it is going to be about being connected in a relationship so as to have an enjoyable time, right? So it's like that there should be a lot of hard work that should come around in the relationships, but that might not be there. But because of this Mercury retrograde and because of the Saturn retrograde there, you are going to learn the karmic lessons of not taking a relationship for granted. Because whenever Venus goes into the fire signs, it becomes more self-absorbent. So when you are in love, you are more into that narcissistic zone. Like, you think more about yourself, and somehow you are blinded by the heat of the sun. And that's why you're not able to see the needs, the physical needs, the emotional needs of the other person. That's why how this particular transit is going to start is, you're going to go into that enjoyable world. You're going to go into that moment that me, myself, I want to fulfill my pleasurable things. I want to fulfill my needs. And for that, and when you will be into that zone, you will be actually given that, heart stuck from Saturn and Mercury retrograde. It will make you pay off your karma by what? By creating in problems within your relationships. And through that, you're going to understand what is the hard work that is needed in the relationship. That's why there can be major heartbreaks that people are going to experience at this time. Because see, we have Anuradha nakshatra as the ascendant in the theme of this transit. So that means that all of these activities, what I talked about, this can lead to emotional trauma, that this can lead to betrayal, or it's not actually betrayal, but it can lead to being separated or being into that alone zone where you are not at talking terms, you're not talking to each other, and one person is very emotionally affected and the other person is in their ego. So this is going to be the theme of relationships for these 10 days. Okay, so this actually talks about that a person has to work hard towards their relationships. There should be a communication, but a communication which is backed up by a lot of overthinking and by a lot of retrospecting of one's actions. At the same time, Mars and Jupiter are being connected in the sign of Taurus. So it's like very practical outlook towards action. So you would also hear a lot of breakups happening in these 10 days because people are going to look for their future stability, future security. So love is not going to be something they are going to consider in relationships for these 10 days. It is rather not just in these 10 days, but I would say for the month of August, but rather people would consider materialistic things over emotional factors within a relationship. They would consider the practical side of relationship. Like, what do you see the practical side of a marriage? It's about finances, how good of a provision the other person gives you physically, mentally, financially. So this is going to be something which a person is going to think, rather than what people are not going to think about love right now. People are just going to be thinking about the enjoyable time right now. So that's what the theme is. Now, this also talks about, since Sun goes into the ninth house, this also talks about that many people, many of you can feel very adamant about your expression of love. If suppose there is I've told you guys, there is a detachment of a relationship, then one person is going to feel very emotionally deprived, but the other person would feel very strong with their opinion and with their decision. So it can call for breakups. This 10 days, these are crucial for relationships. Okay, so for Scorpio ascendant, let's talk for a Scorpio ascendant. This transit is actually happening in the 10th house. This actually can be a good transit for them, because this means that this particular individual would use creative element, creativity, and artistic values within their relationships, and within their career, and they would also can have relationships at their workspace. There could be a lot of communications around relationships, devotion, and anything related to Venus. This also talks about that these people, if Scorpio individuals are working by themselves, they would want to buy something of luxury by their own hard work, because Saturn is aspecting from the fourth house also. But more so, it is talking about gains from the family lineage. So if you are expecting some inheritance to come in, some luxury things to come in for as a part of your inheritance, you can have that right now. Now, the sign of Sagittarius. So for Sagittarius, this is happening in the ninth house. This month of August is actually going to be very enjoyable time for you. It is going to be a time where you are going to, go in for leisure activities. You would want to travel. You would want to, communicate with people. You would want to present very creative outlook towards your knowledge. So since Sagittarius people are very philosophical in nature, and they are very knowledgeable in nature, they are very knowledgeable as well. They would want to present their knowledge in a very beautiful and creative manner. And this also talks about writing. Whatever you write during this time, that is going to have a very good impact on your career and on people as well, right? And then this Magha, with Magha, you also have to see the placement of Ketu. So Ketu is in Hasta. So Hasta also talks about writing. So definitely in your work, some research, writing, some knowledge you take from mythology, that all things are also required. Okay, so talking about relationships, your partner is also going to have a good time, and your partner would also feel fortunate during this time. They might travel, and I feel that you and your partner both would travel for leisure purposes in the month of August. Now, the sign of Capricorn. For Capricorn, this Venus is happening in the eighth house. you might want to beautify your home, or you might want to do some creative element in your secret environment. So eighth house, whenever eighth house gets activated with the Leo placements, or with Venus coming in Leo in the eighth house, that talks about that you want to change the aesthetic of your surroundings, or you just want to demolish your home and you want to build a new home. Whenever this happens in the fourth house or in the eighth house, it talks about that. So that's why there can be chances that you're thinking of that. And this also means that you are very, very romantically aligned right now. You want to have romance in life. See, your moon, Jupiter, and Mars is also in the fifth house. You are dreaming about romance. You are thinking about romantically inclining with someone. So definitely romance is on the go. You are going to take actions towards your romantic life, although your ascendant lord is in the second house right now. So for some time, you are going to take off from finances, from career, and work on your creative side and your romantic side. Now, next we have Aquarius ascendant. So for Aquarius individuals, this is happening in the seventh house. So your partner can be really high on love right now, not just high on love, but high on enjoying things in life. And since you have Saturn retrograde right now, you do feel a lot of responsibility on your shoulders right now, but you would also want to connect, connect in a materialistic manner with your partnerships, with your relationships. So you would want to have some enjoyable time. You would, so for some time, you would stop criticizing yourself for not, for enjoying. Rather, you would choose now enjoying a little, spending a little money on yourself and experiences and travels. Now, this Ketu, for them, Ketu is going into the eighth house. So this again talks about significant travels. This also talks about, traveling with a partner or being associated with a partner. So dating can be also something that you might want to go for. But of course, this Venus and Mercury in the seventh, in the sign of Leo, also talks about direct communication. So if you have feelings for someone and if you are waiting for them to have a communication, I do see that you are in your own power right now, but I do see that there is going to be some communication. So when Mercury goes retrograde, there can be some communication from the past. So right now, it's actually there that you have to communicate your feelings. You should ratherly bluntly communicate your feelings, but along with that, you should not be impatient for the results. So be patient for the results also, but speak yourself out, speak your heart out. Okay, so next would be the sign of Pisces. So for Pisces individuals, Venus and Mercury is going into the sixth house. So Venus and Mercury goes into the sixth house. That means there can be some romantic encounter, which can be a casual romantic encounter within your workspace. It also talks about you want to right now balance your workspace because there's some problem that you are dealing with at your workspace. In your workspace, there would have been some dominant female people, a female, subordinate. They can be subordinates. They can also be your boss, but it is a very authoritative female that is at your place, who is being very bossy with her communication and who is being very bossy over you. So this is actually a good time so to sit and talk to her about your emotion, about how you are feeling because of her behavior. I think this can lead to balancing out the situation. So definitely your devotion right now is going towards work and the work environment, but the disturbance within your work environment is actually creating a problem within your intellect. So you need to just have a clearer communication with the particular individual and get something good out of it. Okay. So next would be the sign of Aries. So for Aries individuals, this transit is happening in the fifth house. It's a very creative time. You might also want to indulge into astrology, and especially the mythological side of astrology. And with Venus going into the nakshatra of Magha, these people suddenly also develop interest in Quran, in the mythology of Muslim people. So you might want to read that as well. But if you are living like at a place where you have people of different ethnicity, then you can expect a relationship coming around with a Muslim individual, and that is going to be a very, very enjoyable time. I feel that this time right now is for you is about your expression of love. You would want to express what you feel. You would want to express either in the form of poetry, or in the form of music, or in the form of some creative and artistic element. And since Ketu is going into the sixth house, it's like you want to be at service to your romantic partner right now. You just want to be with them, you want to enjoy with them, you want to travel with them. Okay, so this seems to be a good and enjoyable time for you. Now, next would be the sign of Taurus. So, Venus is actually your ascendant lord. So, that now being the ascendant lord, it is going into the fifth house. So, this month can be more comfortable for you. You would want to spend on yourself, on your well being. You would either want to get your hair colored, or you would want to get your nails done, or you would want to have, you just want to have some change within yourself so as to make yourself feel better. And also this also talks about having some significant change within your home space. So you might want to redecorate your home. You might want to redecorate, might want to just decorate your home, or redecorate it anyhow. It could be a construction work. Since Saturn is in opposition, it could either be totally construction, or it could just be making some changes within your home. Okay, this also talks about reading, because Mercury is there, reading about mythology, reading about past life, reading about your ancestors. So this time is very much knowledgeable time also. You would want to gather a lot of knowledge from books, from social media, and from different places. Okay, so next one would be the sign of Gemini. So for Gemini individuals, this transit is happening in the third house. You would suddenly develop an interest into beautifying yourself, into balancing your physique. If you are suppose not eating right, you would want to have right eating patterns now, because you would become very conscious of how you are looking outwards. And this Venus and Mercury is, since it is in the third house, that's the Bhavad Bhavam of the eighth house. So that's more intense house. And at the same time, we have Moon in the 12th house. This time is actually the time where you are going to search a lot of things online. You might go for Tinder dates. You might go for online dating also, because somehow you are going to feel lonely in this particular duration. So you would want to explore your options. I most of all I see online, or in within your neighborhood only, or you would want to go to the gym and socialize with people. So I do see that you will want to take actions towards just fulfilling your desires. And this also means, since this Venus and Mercury is in the third house, it also means that you would want to have rift communications. So even if you would have been a very isolated individual, or a very private individual, for this time you would want to connect with people on social media, or in physical also. Okay, and this also talks about doing something creative. So this Venus and Mercury in the third house means that you might develop an interest into creativity, into technology related creativity and innovation. So you would also dive deeper into it. You would try to learn it, because the sign of Leo also represents learning. So it's the original house of education, right? Now next would be the sign of Cancer. So for sign of Cancer, this is happening in the second house. You would want to collect jewelry. You would want to collect luxury, and that could be through it, you can even get these things as a part of your inheritance also. So right now you want to experience luxury, you want to spend money on your well-being and on yourself. If there is some talks of inheritance, if you are expecting some inheritance, you can expect good amount of money, or you can expect a good asset as a form of inheritance for yourself as well. And this right now also talks about that you would have a very casual and friendly communication style right now, but you would do also, since the sign of Leo can give you rift and blunt communication, Venus coming here is actually giving you that diplomacy. So this is not going to be totally blunt communication, but you're going to speak your heart out in a way which is not disturbing for others, which is a good thing. And this also is a very good time for your finances as well. Okay. Now the next one would be Leo. So for Leo, this is happening in the first house. So now you have Venus in the ascendant for a month. Now Venus is in Magha. You would want to enjoy, and also with this enjoyment, you would want to dive into spirituality as well. This time you would also feel very youthful, so you would want to connect with your inner child. And since Saturn is in the seventh house but it is retrograde, you would also want to connect on deeper levels with your partner. It's not more about criticism right now. It's like there is coming some balance after a lot of criticism that was earlier there within the relationship. Now you would want to balance the relationship. You would just ignite that spark of love and romance in your relationships. But of course, with this Magha, you need not to be blinded by the light of sun. You need to be more considerate about the other person's need and feelings also. Now this Ketu is going into the second house. This will make you dive into finances, and it would want you to have finances. But you know what, this is actually a time where you would not care about money, but indeed money is going to come towards you. The more inconsiderate you are towards money, the more money is going to come by itself. But what you need to be considerate about right now is your relationships, and it is your image. So be very carefree about the money, because eventually it is going to come in. But do be careful about your image and your authority. Okay, you would require to take some action towards a major decision of your life. Right now, next one is going to be Virgo. So Virgo people, this is happening in the 12th house, Venus and Mercury. There can be a foreign travel, since again Jupiter, Mars and Moon is in the 9th house at the same time. And also there is going to be a lot of learning experiences. You're going to try to learn about mythology, occult, religion, and you're going to connect with overseas or foreign religions. Any religion which is apart from yours, you would want to read their books, you would want to connect with them, you would want to go on a pilgrimage, you want to go for at places which are related to nature. Okay, so everything similar to this is going to get activated. Since you already are not having the best of the time, this is actually the time when you need to connect on a spiritual level with yourself. And only when you are going to connect spiritually, you are going to gain stability within your relationships. Because see, the fifth lord is actually being aspected by this Venus and Mercury. That means that the balance and the stability will come, but there is some unfinished karma that has to be made regarding yourself, your inner self, and your spirituality. Okay, so listen to your intuition also, because at this time you are going to be intuitively quite high. Right? So it's also a very enjoyable time for you, but of course, also take care of your actions. Your actions should be guided by wisdom, and be very considerate of whatever actions you're going to take and whatever communications you're going to have. Next is the sign of Libra. So for the sign of Libra, this is happening in the 11th house. That means you're going to gain through your social circle. You're going to gain through females, through female friends, through sisters. There's going to be a lot of gains around that. This is actually a time to reconnect with your elder sibling, your sisters, your friends, female friends especially, and they are going to end up making you gain something out of it. And this time is actually very, very creative time. So if you are looking for a recognition, for some promotion, you can actually get that promotion, and this is going to be actually very unexpected, because this is going to come in very unexpectedly towards you. This recognition, this money, this inheritance, or this promotion, everything is going to happen unexpectedly. But this month is going to be good in terms of your fulfillment of desires. Okay, guys, so this was my analysis about the all 12 ascendants, about how this Venus transit in the nakshatra of Magha and in the sign of Leo is going to affect you. So I hope this information is helpful. If you guys are new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you guys would like to have your personal readings, you can check out the link below, www.anmollastrology.com. And under the reading section, you can book a personal reading for yourself. And under the unique reading section, you can book a unique reading for yourself. Okay, see you next time. Bye-bye. Take care.